potency, and by whose mercy we expand the creation of the universe, is always situated before us as the Supersoul. But we cannot see his form. We are unable to see him because all of us think that we are separate and independent gods. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Here is an explanation of why the conditioned soul cannot see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Even though the Lord appears before us as Lord Krishna or Lord Ramachandra and lives in human society as a leader or a king, the conditioned soul cannot understand him. Avajanantimam mudha manasintam asritam. Rascals, mudhas, deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking him an ordinary human being. However, insignificant we are, we think that we are also God, that we can create a universe or that we can create another God. This is why we cannot see or understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya says, Lingam eva pasyama kad chid avimanastu devam api san eva praya kalesu nasti eva tar ataman aptam tar yena so too. We are all conditioned to various degrees, but we think that we are God. This is why we cannot understand who God is or see him face to face. Wow. Okay. Text 26 and 27. By his inconceivable internal potency, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into various transcendental bodies as Vamanadeva, the incarnation of strength, among the demigods, Parasurama, the incarnation among saints, Nishingadeva and Varaha, incarnations among animals, the Matsya and Kurma, incarnations among aquatics. He accepts various transcendental bodies among all types of living entities. And among human beings, he especially appears as Lord Vishnu and Lord Rama. By his causeless mercy, he protects the demigods who are always harassed by the demons. He is the supreme worshipable deity of all living entities. He is the supreme cause. He represented as the male and female creative energies. Although different from this universe, he exists in his universe form, Virat Rupa. In our fearful condition, let us take shelter of him, for we are sure that the Supreme Lord, the Supreme God, will give us his protection. Okay? Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is ascertained to be the original cause of creation. Sridhara Swami, in his commentary, Bhavarata Dipika, replies to the idea that Prakriti and Purusha are the causes of the cosmic manifestation. As stated herein, Param Paradhanam Purusham Vishwam Ayanyamam
Anya.
Anyam Ayamyam Anyam.
Yeah, just Anya.
Anyam.
Hmm.
He is the supreme cause, represented as the male and female creative energies. Although different from this universe, he exists in his universal form, Virata Rupa. The word Prakriti, which is used to indicate the source of generation, refers to the material energy of the Supreme Lord, and the word Purusha refers to the living entities, who are the superior energy of the Lord. Both the Prakriti and Purusha ultimately enter the Supreme Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Prakritim Yanti Mamikam. Although the Prakriti and the Purusha superficially appear to be camera of the material manifestation, both are emanations of different types of energies, emanations of different energies
Of the Supreme.
of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the cause of Prakriti and Purusha. He is the original cause, Sarvakarana Karanam. The Naradiya Purana says, Avikaro pi parama prakritis tu vikarini. Anupravisya Govinda prakritis cha vidyate. Both the Prakriti and the Purusha, which are inferior and superior energies, are emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prakriti is the material energy, and Purusha is the enjoyer. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, Gam Avisya, the Lord enters the Prakriti, and then the Prakriti creates different manifestations. The Prakriti is not independent or beyond his energies. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Vasudeva, Lord Shri Krishna, is the original cause of everything. Therefore, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam pravartate itimatva vajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who spiritually know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with their hearts. In Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33, the Lord says, Aham evasam evagre. Only I existed before the creation. This is confirmed in Brahmanda Purana as follows. Smitir Agya Vadanena Pakriti Vam Itistiti Ubay Atmaka Stuti Sutitvad Vasudeva Parapamam Pakriti Purushashchiti Sabdar Eko Vidyate. To generate the universe, the Lord acts indirectly as the Purusha and directly as the Prakriti, because both energies emanate from Lord Vishnu. That the all-pervasive Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is known as both Prakriti and Purusha. Therefore, Vasudeva is the cause of everything and everything. Sarva Karana Karanam. Okay. Text 28. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, when all the demigods offered him their prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord Hari, carrying his weapons, the conch shell, disc, and club, appeared first within their hearts and then before them." Wow. Okay. Text 29 and 30. Surrounding and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, were 16 personal attendants decorated with ornaments and appearing exactly like him, but without the mark of Srivatsa and the Kostuba jewel. O king, when all the demigods saw the Supreme Lord in this posture, smiling with eyes like the petals of lotuses grown in autumn, they were overwhelmed with happiness and immediately fell down like rods, offering thunder rods. They then slowly rose and pleased the Lord by offering him prayers. Okay. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In Vaikuntha Loka, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has four hands and decorations like the Srivatsa mark on his chest and the gem known as Kostuba. These are special indications of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord's personal attendants. The other devotees in Vaikuntha have the same features except for the Srivatsa mark and the Kostuba jewel. Text 31. Namaste Yagna Viryaya Vyasaye Uta Ki Shriya. And let's see that. Wait a second. Yeah, Vyase Uta Te Nama Namaste Hi Asta Chakraya Nama Supuru Hutaye. The demigod said, "O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are competent to give the results of sacrifice, and you are also the time factor that destroys all such results in due course. You are the one who releases the chakra to kill the demons, O Lord, who possesses many varieties of names. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you." Yeah. Okay, text 32. O Supreme Controller, you control the three destinations: promotion to the heavenly planets, birth as a human being, and condemnation in hell. Yet your supreme abode is Vaikuntha Dhamma. Since we appeared after you created this cosmic manifestation, your activities are impossible for us to understand. We therefore have nothing to offer you but our humble obeisances. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is Canto 6, Chapter 9, text number 32. An inexperienced man generally does not know what to beg from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is under this jurisdiction of the created material world, and no one knows what benediction to ask when praying to the Supreme Lord. People generally pray to be promoted to the heavenly planets because they have no information of Vaikuntha Loka Srila Madhvacharya quotes the following verse. Devalokat Lokat Nirayach Chapi Yat Param Tristribhya Paramam Stanam Vaishnavam Visudasam Gati. There are different planetary systems known as Devaloka, the planets of the demigods, Pitriloka, the planet of the Pitas, and Niraya, the hellish planets. When one transcends these various planetary systems and enters Vaikuntha he achieves the highest resort possible of the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas have nothing to do with uh, young,
Maharaj, are you?
have nothing to do with the other planetary systems. Text 33 says, say here, okay, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Narayana, O Vasudeva, original person, O most exalted person, supreme experience, welfare personified, O supreme benediction, supremely merciful and changeless, O support of the cosmic manifestation, sole proprietor of all planetary systems, master of everything, and husband of the goddess of fortune. Your lordship is realized by the topmost sannyasis who want above the world to preach Krishna consciousness. Okay, fully robed in samadhi through bhakti yoga. Because their minds are concentrated upon you, they can receive the conception of your personality in their fully purified hearts. When the time, when the
Darkness.
darkness in their hearts is completely eradicated and you are revealed to them, the transcendental bliss they enjoy is the transcendental form of your lordship. No one but such persons can realize you. Therefore, we simply offer you our respectful obeisances. Okay, very nice. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has numerous transcendental names pertaining to different grades of revelation, to various grades of devotees and transcendentalists. When he is realized in his impersonal form, he is called the Supreme Brahman. When realized as the Paramatma, he is called Antaryami. And when he expands himself in different forms for material creation, he is called Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Karanodakshaya Vishnu. When he is realized as Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and let's see, uh, when he is realized as Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Karanadakshayi, Vishnu,
Sankarsana Pradyumna,
Pradyumna,
Aniruddha.
and Aniruddha, the Chaturvyuha, who are beyond the three forms of Vishnu, he is the Vaikuntha Narayana. Above realization of Narayana is the realization of Baladeva, and above that is realization of Krishna. All these realizations are possible when one engages fully in devotional service. The covered core of one's heart is then completely open to receiving and understanding of the Supreme Personality Godhead in its various forms. Okay, very good. Text 34. O Lord, You need no support. And although you have no material body, you do not need cooperation from us. Since you are the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and you supply its material ingredients without being transformed, you create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation by yourself. Nevertheless, although you appear engaged in material activity, you are transcendental to all material qualities. Consequently, these material activities of yours are extremely difficult to understand. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 says, Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhuta. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is always situated in Goloka Vrindavana. It is also said, Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam na gacchati. Gacchati. Krishna never goes even a step from Vrindavana. Nevertheless, although Krishna is situated in his own abode, Goloka Vrindavana, he is simultaneously all pervading and is therefore present everywhere. This is very difficult for a conditioned soul to understand, but devotees can understand how Krishna, without undergoing any changes, can simultaneously be in his abode and be all pervasive. The demigods are understood to be various limbs of the Supreme Lord's body. Although the Supreme Lord has no material body and does not need anyone's help. Okay, so yeah, he doesn't have a material body, but he does have a spiritual body. So we should not be misled by this statement here, where it says the demigods are understood to be various limbs of the Supreme Lord's body. Although the Supreme Lord has no material body and does not need anyone's help. Yeah, but he has a spiritual body. Okay. He is spread everywhere. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina. Nevertheless, he is not present everywhere in his spiritual form. According to the Mayavada philosophy, the supreme truth, being all pervasive, does not need a transcendental form. Yeah, he's already transcendental. The Mayavadis suppose that since his form is distributed everywhere, he has no form. This is untrue. The Lord keeps his transcendental form. There it is. And at the same time, he extends everywhere in every nook and corner of the material creation. Text 35. These are our inquiries. The ordinary conditioned soul is subject to the material laws, and he thus receives the fruits of his actions. Does your lordship, like an ordinary human being, exist within this material world, in a body produced by the material modes? Good question by the demigods. Do you enjoy or suffer the good or bad results of actions under the influence of time, past work, and so forth? Or, on the contrary, are you present here only as a neutral witness who is self sufficient, free from all material desires, and always full of spiritual potency? We certainly cannot understand your actual position. Okay, very good. Let's hear what's going to be said then. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he descends to this material world for two purposes, namely paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chatuskritam. to relieve the devotees and kill the demons or the non-devotees. These two kinds of action are the same for the absolute truth. When the Lord comes to punish the demons, he bestows his favor upon them, and similarly, when he delivers his devotees and gives them relief, he also bestows his favor. Thus, the Lord bestows his favor equally upon the conditioned souls. When a conditioned soul gives relief to others, he acts piously. And when he gives trouble to others, he acts impiously. But the Lord is neither pious nor impious. He is always full of his spiritual potency, by which he shows equal mercy to the punishable and the protectable. Very nice statement. The Lord is apapa vidam. He is never contaminated by the reactions of so-called sinful reactions. He is never contaminated by the reactions of so-called sinful activities. The Lord is apapavidam. He is never contaminated by the reactions of so-called sinful activities. When Krishna was present on this earth, he killed many inimical non-devotees, but they all received swarupya. In other words, they returned to their original spiritual bodies. One who does not know the Lord's position says that God is unkind to him, but merciful to others. Actually, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:29, Samoham sarvabhutesu na me dveso stina priya. I am equal to everyone. No one is my enemy, and no one is my friend. But he who says, Ye bhajanti tamam bhaktya mayate tesu chapyaham. If one becomes my devotee and fully surrenders unto me, I give him special attention. Okay, very nice statement. Text 36. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the contradictions can be reconciled in you. O Lord, since you are the Supreme Person, the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities. That's why all contradictions can be reconciled, because he has unlimited spiritual qualities. The Supreme Controller, your unlimited glories are inconceivable to the conditioned souls. Many modern theologians argue about right and wrong without knowing what is actually right. That's interesting. Their arguments are always false, yeah, of course, and their judgments inconclusive because they have no authorized evidence with which to gain knowledge of you. Because their minds are agitated by scriptures containing false conclusions, they are unable to understand the truth concerning you. Furthermore, because of polluted eagerness to arrive at the right conclusion, their theories are incapable of revealing you, who are transcendental to their material conceptions. You are one without a second, and therefore, in you, contradictions like doing and not doing, happiness and distress, are not contradictory. Your potency is so great that it can do and undo anything as you like, with the help of the potency. With the help of that potency, what is impossible for you? Nothing. Since there is no duality in your constitutional position, you can do everything by the influence of your energy. Wow, wonderful state. Beautiful statement. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being self-sufficient, is full of transcendental bliss. Atmarama. He enjoys bliss in two ways, when he appears happy and when he appears distressed. Distinctions and contradictions are impossible in him, because only from him have they emanated. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all knowledge, all potency, all strength, all opulence, and influence. There is no limit to his powers. Because of that, he can adjust everything that to normal people seem impossible, but not for the Lord. Since he is full in all transcendental attributes, nothing abominable from the material world can exist in him. He is transcendental and spiritual, and therefore conceptions of material happiness and distress do not apply to him. We should not be astonished to find contradictions in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, there are no contradictions. That is the meaning of his being supreme, because he is all powerful. He is not subject to the conditioned soul's arguments regarding his existence or non-existence. He is pleased to protect his devotees by killing their enemies. He enjoys both the killing and the protecting. Wow, amazing. Such freedom from duality applies not only to the Lord, but also to his devotees. In Vrindavana, the damsels of Rajabhumi enjoy the transcendental bliss of the company of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and they feel the same transcendental bliss in separation when Krishna and Balaram leave Vrindavana for Mathura. There is no question of material pains or pleasures for either the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his pure devotees.
Although
Although they are sometimes superficially said to be distressed or happy. One who is Atmarama is blissful in both ways. Oh, okay. Non-devotees cannot understand the contradictions present in the Supreme Lord or his devotees. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. The transcendental pastimes can be understood through devotional service. To non-devotees, they are inconceivable. Achintya, kalu ye bhava, natam starkina yojayet. The Supreme Lord and his form, name, pastimes, and paraphernalia are inconceivable to non-devotees, and one should not try to understand such realities simply by logical arguments. They will not bring one to the right conclusion about the absolute truth. And that's very profound statements. Text 37. A rope causes fear for a bewildered person who considers it a snake, but not for a person with proper intelligence and who knows it to be only a rope. Similarly, you, as the super soul in everyone's heart, inspire fear or fearlessness according to one's intelligence, but in you there is no duality. Purport by Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita 4:11, the Lord says, Ye tamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. As one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the reservoir of everything, including all knowledge, all truth, and all contradictions. The example cited herein is very appropriate. A rope is one truth, but some mistake it for a snake, whereas others know it to be a rope. Similarly, devotees who know the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not see contradictions in him, but non-devotees regard him as the snake-like source of all fear. Wow. For example, when the Shingadeva appeared, Prahlad Maharaj saw the Lord as the supreme solace, whereas his father, a demon, saw him as the ultimate death. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37, Bayan Dritiya Bini Vesita Syat. Fear results from being absorbed in duality. When one is in knowledge of duality, one knows both fear and bliss. The same Supreme Lord is a source of bliss to devotees and fear to non-devotees who have a poor fund of knowledge. God is one, but people understand the absolute truth from different angles of vision. The unintelligent see contradictions in him, but sober persons find no contradictions. Yeah, we have complete faith in Krishna, then we don't see any contradictions. And we don't have the dualities. There's only one God. He's the Supreme Personality Godhead, Krishna. And therefore, we are surrendered completely to the Lord. There's no two gods. There's no this. There's no that. And when it says Bayam Tritiya Bina Vaseta Syat, it says fear results from being absorbed in duality. Well, devotees do not have this duality because they know that Krishna is the unique Supreme Personality of Godhead and he promises to protect his devotees. Therefore, the devotees completely depend on Krishna's statements that he will protect his devotees. Therefore, they don't have any fear. However, if someone is absorbed in duality, means that, well, in some conditions, he might doubt the fact that God can protect him. And in other times, he might think that God will protect him. So that is duality, and it causes what you would call fear. When one is in knowledge of duality, one knows both fear and bliss. See? The same Supreme Lord is a source of bliss to devotees and fear to non-devotees who have a poor fund of knowledge. God is one, but people understand the absolute truth from different angles of vision. The unintelligent see contradictions in him, but sober devotees find no contradictions. Those are the correct explanations of the the way devotees see the Lord, as opposed to how the non-devotees see the Lord. Text 38. With deliberation, that's good. That means you're thinking very carefully. One will see that the Supreme Soul, although manifested in different ways, is actually the basic principle of everything. The total material energy is the cause of the material manifestation, but the material energy is caused by him, meaning Krishna. Therefore, he is the cause of all causes, the manifester of intelligence and the senses. He is perceived as the super soul of everything. Without him, everything would be dead. You, as super soul, the supreme controller, are the only one remaining. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The words Sarva Vastuni Vastu Swarupa indicate that the Supreme Lord is the active principle of everything. As described in Brahma Samhita 535, Ekopi Aso Chaitum Jagad Andakotim. Yas Chaktir Asti Jagad Andachaya Yad Anta. Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the personality of Godhead, Govinda, who enters the existence of every universe and every atom by one of his plenary portions, and thus manifests his infinite energy throughout the material creation. By his one plenary portion as Paramatma, Antaryami, the Lord is all pervading throughout the unlimited universes. He is the Pratyak, or Antaryami, of all living entities. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Chitra Gyam Shapimam Vidhi Sarva Chitra Subharata, O Skyan of Bharata. You should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. Yeah, because he's present as super soul. Because the Lord is the super soul, he is the active principle of every living entity and even the atom. Yeah, he's also present in the atom. Just imagine how small the atom is.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lord is even smaller than the atom. Andamtarasta Paramanu Chantarastam. He is the actual reality. According to various stages of intelligence, one realizes the presence of the Supreme in everything through the manifestation of his energy. The entire world is permeated by the three gunas, and one can understand his presence according to one's modes of material nature. Okay. Text 39. Therefore, the killer of the Madhu demon, incessant transcendental bliss, flows in the mind of those who have even once tasted but a drop of nectar from the ocean of your glory. Such exalted devotees forget the tiny reflection of so-called material happiness produced from the material senses of sight and sound. Free from all desires, such devotees are the real friends of all living entities, offering their minds unto you, meaning Krishna, and enjoying transcendental bliss. They are expert in achieving the real goal of life, which is to go back to Godhead. O Lord, you are the sole and dear friend of such devotees who never need return to this material world. How could they give up engagement in your devotional service? Well, this is a rhetorical question. They can never give up the engagement in devotional service to the Lord. Purport. Although non-devotees, because of their meager knowledge and speculative habits, cannot understand the real nature of the Lord. Okay, correct statement. A devotee who has once tasted the nectar from the Lord's lotus feet can realize what transcendental pleasure there is in the Lord's devotional service. A devotee knows that simply by rendering service to the Lord, he serves everyone. Therefore, devotees are real friends to all living entities. Only a pure devotee can preach the glories of the Lord for the benefit of all conditioned souls. Well, that's true. And therefore, the neophyte devotees can make mistakes, but the uh, very experienced devotees, they've already made mistakes and they understand how to avoid making mistakes. So, therefore, it says, a devotee knows that simply by rendering service to the Lord, he serves everyone. That's a very important statement. Therefore, devotees are real friends to all living entities. Only a pure devotee can preach the glories of the Lord for the benefit of all conditioned souls. Very significant statement. Text 40. O Lord, O personified three worlds, O personified three worlds, Father of the three worlds, O strength of the three worlds, in the form of the Vamana incarnation, O three-eyed form of the Shingadeva, O most beautiful person within the three worlds. Everything and everyone, including human beings and even the Daitya demons and the Danavas, is but an expansion of your energy. O supremely powerful one, you have always appeared in your forms as the various incarnations to punish the demons as soon as they become very powerful. You appear as Lord Vamanadeva, Lord Rama, and Lord Krishna. You appear sometimes as an animal like Lord Boar, sometimes a mixed incarnation like Narashingadeva and Lord Hayagriva, and sometimes as an aquatic like Lord Fish and Lord Tortoise. Assuming such various forms, you have always punished the demons and Danavas. We therefore pray that your Lordship appears today as another incarnation, if you so desire to kill the great demon Vritrasura. Okay, Vritrasura was very dangerous, but he was also a devotee. Let's see, what's going to be said about this. Purport. There are two kinds of devotees, known as Sakama and Akama. Pure devotees are Akama, meaning, okay, anyway, we'll continue. Whereas devotees in the upper planetary systems, such as the demigods, are called Sakama because they still want to enjoy material opulence. So Akama means they don't want to enjoy material opulence, and Sakama means, although they're devotees, but they still want to enjoy material opulence. Because of their pious activities, the Sakama devotees are promoted to the higher planetary systems, but at heart, they still desire to lord it over the material resources. The Sakama devotees are sometimes disturbed by the demons and Rakshasas, but the Lord is so kind that he always saves them by appearing as an incarnation. The Lord's incarnations are so powerful that Lord Vamanadeva covered the entire universe with two steps and therefore had no place for his third step. The Lord is called Brahma because he showed his strength by delivering the entire universe with merely 3 steps. The difference between Sakama and Akama devotees is that when Sakama devotees, like the demigods, fall into difficulty, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief. Whereas Akama devotees, even in the greatest danger, never disturb the Lord for material benefits.
Very bold.
Hare Krishna. Even if an Akama devotee is suffering, he thinks this is due to his past impious activities and agrees to suffer the consequences. He never disturbs the Lord. Sakama devotees immediately pray to the Lord as soon as they are in difficulty, but they are regarded as pious because they consider themselves fully dependent on the mercy of the Lord. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-8. Tate nukampam susamikshamano punjana evatma kritam vipakam ridva vapurbir vidahan vidadan namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadayat bhak. Even while suffering in the midst of difficulties, devotees simply offer their prayers and service more enthusiastically. Wow. In this way, they become firmly fixed in devotional service and eligible to return home back to Godhead without a doubt. Sakama devotees, of course, achieve from the Lord the results they desire from their prayers, but they do not immediately become fit to return to Godhead. Yeah, so the Sakama devotees, they are devotees, but they still have material desires. And the Akama devotees, they have no material desires. It is to be noted herein that Lord Vishnu, in his various incarnations, is always the protector of his devotees. Srila Madhvacharya says, Vividam Bhava Patravat Sarve Vishnu Vibhutaya. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. All the other incarnations proceed from Lord Vishnu. Text 41. O Supreme Protector, O Grandfather, O Supreme Pure, O Lord, we are all surrendered souls at your lotus feet. Indeed, our minds are bound to your lotus feet in meditation by chains of love. Nice. Now please manifest your incarnation, accepting us as your own eternal servants and devotees. Be pleased with us and sympathetic towards us. By your love-filled glance, with its cool and pleasing smile of sympathy, and by the sweet, nectarine words emanating from your beautiful face, free us from the anxiety caused by this Vichasura who always plans, who always pains, who always pains the cores of our hearts. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma is considered the father of the demigods, but Krishna, or Lord Vishnu, is the father of Brahma, because Brahma took birth from the lotus flower growing from the Lord's abdomen. Oh, text 42. O Lord, as the small sparks of a fire cannot possibly perform the actions of the whole fire, we sparks of your lordship cannot inform you of the necessities of our lives. You are complete whole. You are the complete whole. Therefore, of what do we need to inform you? You know everything because you are the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, the maintainer and the annihilator of the entire universal creation. You always engage in your pastimes with your spiritual and material energies, for you are the controller of all these varied energies. You exist within all living entities, within the cosmic manifestation, and also beyond them. You exist internally as Para Brahman, and externally as the ingredients of the material creation. Therefore, although manifested in various stages at different times and places, and in various bodies, you, the personality of Godhead, are the original cause of all causes. Indeed, you are the original element. You are the witness of all activities. But because you are as great as the sky, you are never touched by any of them. You are the witness of everything as Paramatma. I'm sorry, Param Brahman, Parabrahman, and Paramatma. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, nothing is unknown to you. Well, that's a pretty, what you would call, complete explanation of the transcendental nature of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The absolute truth exists in three phases of spiritual understanding: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti sabhyate. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of Brahman and Paramatma. Brahman, the impersonal absolute truth, is all pervading, and Paramatma is locally situated in everyone's heart. But Bhagavan, who is worshipable by the devotees, is the original cause of all causes. So that's a very important statement. A pure devotee is aware that since nothing is unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he need not be informed of a devotee's uh, conveniences and inconveniences. Let's see, am I pronouncing that word?
Convenience.
Conveniences and inconveniences, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
A pure devotee knows that there is no need to ask the absolute truth for any material necessities. Therefore, while informing the Supreme Lord about their distress in being attacked by Vitrasura, the demigods apologize for offering prayers for their safety. Ah, good. A neophyte devotee, of course, approaches the Supreme Lord for relief from distress or poverty, for speculative knowledge, or for speculative knowledge of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7:16 mentions four kinds of pious men who begin devotional service to the Lord. One who is distressed, artha. One in need of money, arti. One who is inquisitive, jignasu. And one who is searching for the absolute truth, jnani. A pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, there is no need to offer prayers or worship for one's personal benefits. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there is no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. Very good statements. Text 43. Dear Lord, you are omniscient, meaning he knows everything, and therefore you know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provides shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. Since you are the supreme spiritual master and you know everything, we have sought shelter of your lotus feet for instruction. Please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for a fully surrendered devotee and are the only means for subduing all the tribulations of this material world. Purport. One need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material tribulations that disturb him will be subdued, just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree. The disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without once asking for relief. Therefore, the whole concern of the conditioned soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord.
Very good. Time check, Maharaj. So,
Time. We're ready. We're out of time.
we're about 7:40. Do you want to?
I'll just finish this purport.
Mm-hmm.
The conditioned soul suffering from various tribulations because of existing in this material world can be relieved only when he seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Okay, so this is our takeaway for today, which says one need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material tribulations, meaning problems and fears, that disturb him will be subdued, just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree. The disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without one asking for relief. Therefore, the whole concern of the considered soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord. The conditioned soul, suffering from various tribulations because of existing in this material world, can be relieved only when he seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. So, why are they talking about lotus feet? Because that means one actually surrenders to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that whenever it says lotus feet of the Lord, it means that one is surrendered to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore is a genuine devotee because he's completely surrendered to the Lord.
Yeah, that's a very good explanation, because otherwise, is it just only bowing down? But the real understanding is that there is a complete surrender to the Lord.
Yes. Okay, I think we'll stop right there. If there are any questions or comments.
Yeah, that analogy of heat versus the tree shade. in this example. How once you get under the shade of the tree, automatically all the difficulties associated with the scorching sun
Yeah.
are eliminated. So, in the same way, the Lord's surrender to the Lord automatically eliminates the material pangs.
So we need the shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material tribulations that disturb him will be subdued, just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree. Yeah. The disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without once asking for relief. Therefore, the whole concern of the conditioned soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord. The conditioned soul. So here you have uh, the Lord's lotus feet as being, uh, the shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. And then it's talking about the shadow of a big tree. So one need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet when all material tribulations that disturb him will be subdued, just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree. The disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without once asking for relief. So, similarly, when we come under the shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet, it's like the shade of a big tree that relieves one from the disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun. Okay, well, thank you very much, my dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, so our takeaway for today, and it says in the purport to text 43, Canto 6, chapter 9, text 43. And the last part of that purport says, a pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, meaning the Lord is present everywhere and he knows everything that's happening, you know. Okay. Therefore, uh, there is no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefit. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. That's a big statement. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there's no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. There it is. So, a pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, there's no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefits. A A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there's no need to disturb him by asking him for any material benefits. You see, now I've always said that also. Krishna knows exactly what we need, and we shouldn't pray to Krishna for any benefits. Like, let's say there's a dangerous situation, and then yeah, we simply should glorify Krishna in all situations. We don't have to say, well, let's say someone is sick, and we are praying for that person to get better. Well, actually, you don't have to really pray so that person gets better, because uh, we should just pray to worship Krishna or glorify Krishna. Krishna knows that person who is suffering, and so we should simply glorify the Lord. And then Krishna knows, whether to relieve that person from their difficulties or not. It's up to him. So therefore, we don't have to specifically pray for someone because they're sick or they're dying. We should simply glorify Krishna, and Krishna knows exactly what's needed. Yeah, therefore it says here, a pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, meaning present everywhere and knows everything that's going on, there is no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefit. For one's personal benefit. Okay. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. It's important that he uses the plural, his devotees. Consequently, there is no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. So, we just continue worshiping Krishna, and we're not offering prayers for one's personal benefit. And we continue, if we're in good health, engaging in devotional service and worshiping Krishna without asking for anything. You don't have to ask for anything because Krishna already knows what you need. And you don't have to remind him. Okay, so our takeaway is exactly this point. A neophyte devotee, of course, approaches the Supreme Lord for relief from distress or poverty or for speculative knowledge of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7:16 mentions four kinds of pious men who begin devotional service to the Lord: one who is distressed, called Artha; one in need of money, Artharji; one who is inquisitive, Jigyasu; and one who is searching for the absolute truth, Jnani. A pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, in other words, he's always present everywhere, and he knows everything that's going on. There is no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefit. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there is no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. Okay, that's our takeaway for today. Krishna knows what we need more than we do. So we don't have to pray for any benefits from Krishna. He knows what we need and what we don't need. Therefore, it says here, a pure devotee, however, knows that since Krishna is omnipresent, meaning he's everywhere, and omniscient, he knows everything about us, who is omnipresent and omniscient. There is no need to offer prayers for worshiping him, or there's no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefit. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there is no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. Okay. Yeah, so these prayers for someone's health are not necessary because Krishna knows what people need. Rather, we should just glorify the Lord and continue in our steady devotional service and depend completely on the mercy of the Lord. He will guide us in all situations.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, Maharaj. My aunt, my mom's sister in India is in ICU, in critical care, and everyone keeps saying, pray for her, pray for her. So, what kind of advice from me should come for advice or what some sympathy or empathy should come from me for her as she is in critical condition and any day she could be gone. Thank you.
Well, where is it your mother?
No, it's not my mother, it's my mom's sister. She's in Delhi, New
Oh,
Delhi.
she's in
Yes.
Delhi.
Yes.
Well, if you are always engaged in devotional service to Krishna, you don't have to ask anything. Krishna knows everything about you. So you just continue your devotional service. You don't have to ask specifically for anyone or anything. Krishna knows everything. That's why it says he is omniscient and, and omnipresent, meaning he's everywhere and he understands everything. So you don't have to specifically pray for someone who's sick. Rather, you just continue pure devotional service wherever you are and always depend on the mercy of the Lord. If we specifically make prayers to, oh, my great auntie is sick, please, I'm praying for, Krishna to help my auntie so she doesn't die. It's unnecessary. Krishna knows more than we do what is needed and what is not needed. Right? So we should simply pray to Krishna by glorifying Krishna. That's a prayer. When you ask for something from Krishna, it's not really a prayer. When you glorify Krishna and his transcendental qualities, that is a prayer. That's why it says here, a pure devotee knows that there is no need to ask the absolute truth for any material necessities. Therefore, while informing the Supreme Lord about their distress in being attacked by Vritrasura, the demigods apologized for offering prayers for their safety. A neophyte devotee, of course, approaches the Supreme Lord for relief from distress or poverty, or for speculative knowledge of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7:16 mentions four kinds of pious men who begin devotional service to the Lord: one who is distressed, one in need, one who is always disturbed or uh, and uh, dis- uh, distressed and in need of money, or one who is inquisitive, or one who is searching for the absolute truth. A pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, that's it right there. He's present everywhere and he knows everything. There's no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefit. Yeah, let's say your grandmother is sick. You don't have to specifically pray for your grandmother. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there's no need to disturb him by asking for material benefits. On the other hand, you can pray to the Lord, and but not for a specific uh, purpose, such as get my grandmother healthy again. But you can pray to him to glorify him and understand that he is omniscient. He knows everything that's happening, and he is omnipresent. He's present everywhere. He's present in your grandmother's heart as well as he's present in your heart. And he also is cognizant of what your problem is. So we don't have to remind him. He knows exactly. So always our main point is to glorify the Lord. That's a prayer. If you ask things from the Lord, that's not a prayer. That's a business transaction. Give me this, give me that. But if you simply glorify the Lord, that is a prayer. Therefore, it says here, a pure devotee knows that there's no need to ask the a pure devotee knows that there's no need to ask the absolute truth, meaning Krishna, for any material necessities. Therefore, while informing the Supreme Lord about their distress in being attacked by Vritrasura, the demigods apologized for offering prayers for their safety. they apologized for offering prayers for their safety. A neophyte devotee, of course, approaches the Supreme Lord for relief from distress or poverty, or for speculative knowledge of the Lord. 1 second. Therefore, while informing the Supreme Lord about their distress in being attacked by Vritrasura, the demigods apologized for offering prayers for their safety. A neophyte devotee, of course, approaches the Supreme Lord for relief from distress or poverty, or for speculative knowledge of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7:16 mentions four kinds of pious men who begin devotional service to the Lord: one who is distressed, one in need of money, one who is inquisitive, and one who is searching for the absolute truth. A pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omniscient, omnipresent and omniscient, There is no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefits. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees, and consequently, he avoids the necessities. And consequently, there is no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. Like, oh, my grandmother is really sick. Please relieve her of her sickness. It's unnecessary to pray like that. On the other hand, you should glorify the Lord. Just like, let's see, um, O Supreme Protector. This is Canto 6, Chapter 9, Text 41. O Supreme Protector, that's Krishna. O Grandfather, that's Krishna. O Supreme Pure, that's Krishna. O Lord, we are all surrendered souls at your lotus feet. Indeed, our minds are bound to your lotus feet in meditation by chains of love. Wow, beautiful statement. Chains of love. Now, please manifest your incarnation, accepting us as your own eternal servants and devotees. Be pleased with us and sympathetic toward us by your love filled glance, with its cool and pleasing sympathy smile of sympathy, and by the sweet nectarian words emanating from your beautiful face. Free us from the anxiety caused by this Vitrasura, who always pains the cores of our hearts. Well, you might say, oh, wait a minute here. They're asking for something here in this prayer. Yeah, but basically, uh, what they're asking is that the Lord protect them. Therefore, it says, accepting us as your eternal servants and devotees, be pleased with us and sympathetic toward us. By your love filled glance, with this cool and pleasing smile of sympathy, and by the sweet nectarian words emanating from your beautiful face, free us from the anxiety caused by this Ritrasura, who always pains and possesses. Now, see, this Vitrasura is still alive. Or, in other words, when we're reading the Bhagavatam, he was still alive. And therefore, he was causing trouble. So they're praying to the Lord to please protect them. So in the text 42, it says, O Lord, as the small sparks of a fire cannot possibly perform the actions of the whole fire, we sparks of your lordship cannot inform you of the necessities of our lives. You are the complete whole. Therefore, of what do we need to inform you? Yeah, you don't have to complain to the Lord, oh, I don't have this, oh, Lord, there's some problem. No. You know everything because you are the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, the maintainer and the annihilator of the entire universal creation. You always engage in your pastimes with your spiritual and material energies. For you are the controller of all these varied energies. You exist within all living entities, within the cosmic manifestation, and also beyond them. You exist internally as Parabrahman and externally as the ingredients of the material creation. Therefore, although manifest in various stages at different times and places and in various bodies, you, the personality of Godhead, are the original cause of all causes. Indeed, you are the original Godhead. You are the sorry. You are the original element. You, the personality of Godhead, are the original cause of all causes. Indeed, you are the original element. You are the witness of all activities. But because you are as great as the sky, you are never touched by any of them. You are the witness of everything as Para Brahman and Paramatma, O Supreme Personality Godhead. Nothing is unknown to you. So, it's a wonderful statement. And therefore, instead of asking for something, we should simply glorify the Lord. And now in the purport to that verse 42, it says, a pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, present everywhere, and knows everything, there is no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefit. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there is no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. There it is right there. That's the main statement of today's takeaway also. It says, Canto 6, Chapter 9, Text 42. And the last couple of, the whole purport is very profound. We don't have to pray for Krishna to, heal our sicknesses, or we don't have to pray for someone who's sick. We should just glorify the Lord. He knows if someone is sick. He knows what we need. He knows what we don't need. And therefore, in this purport it says, and this is the text 42 again, a pure devotee knows that there is no need to ask the absolute truth for any material necessities. Therefore, while informing the Supreme Lord about their distress in being attacked by Vitrasura, the demigods apologized for offering prayers for their safety. Here it is. They have to apologize for uh, uh, offering prayers for their safety. A neophyte devotee, of course, approaches the Supreme Lord for relief from distress or poverty, or for speculative knowledge of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7:16 mentions four kinds of pious men who begin devotional service to the Lord: one who is distressed, one in need of money, one who is inquisitive, and one who is searching for the absolute truth. A pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, there is no need to offer prayers or worship for one's personal benefit. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there's no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. That is our takeaway for today and for eternity.
Correct.
Okay, there's very, very beautiful statements here. And yeah, the next time, let's say I'm really sick and it looks like I'm going to die. You don't have to pray, to Krishna. Rather, that, oh, please don't let him die. Please, we need him, this thing, that. You just chant Hare Krishna sincerely. Krishna knows what's going on. But then you have to sincerely pray to the Lord, not specifically for one person or for a group of people uh, that are in danger or one person who looks like he's going to die. We should just glorify Krishna. He knows what's what. And that's why it says here, a pure devotee, however, knows that since the Lord is omnipresent and omniscient, meaning present everywhere and knowing everything, there is no need to offer prayers or worship him for one's personal benefit. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord without demanding anything. The Lord is present everywhere and knows the necessities of his devotees. Consequently, there's no need to disturb him by asking him for material benefits. There it is. Okay, all glories to Prabhupada. The next time someone says, oh, my grandmother is sick, please pray for her. Well, we're praying every day, so we don't have to specifically pray for her, but we're praying every day. If it's specifically for her, that's inappropriate. Krishna knows what we need. We don't have to tell him, I need this, or I'm praying only for this person. He knows what's going on. He's omniscient. That means he knows everything. And he's omnipresent. That means he's present everywhere. All we have to do is simply glorify Krishna. He knows what's going on better than we do. So we should simply glorify the Lord. And to glorify the Lord, you need to have some knowledge. Just like here it says, Dear Lord, you are omniscient, meaning you are everything. You know everything. And therefore, you know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provide shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. Since you are the supreme spiritual master and you know everything, we have sought shelter at your lotus feet for instruction. Please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for a fully surrendered devotee and are the only means for subduing all the tribulations of this material world. And then the purport says, one need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material tribulations that disturb him will be subdued. Just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree, the disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without asking for relief. Without asking for relief. Therefore, the whole concern of the conditioned soul should be the lotus feet of the Lord. In other words, surrendering at the lotus feet of the Lord. Right? It's not praying for my grandmother. The conditioned soul suffering from various tribulations because of existing in this material world can be relieved only when he seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Yeah, so we're not praying specifically for someone who gets sick, but we are glorifying the Lord and surrendering at his lotus feet. He knows what we need, what we don't need. He knows what's going on, what's not going on. He knows everything. So we don't have to ask for anything. Haribol. All glories to Prabhupada, DJ. That is our
Hare
safe.
Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I know we are out of time, but I just want to make a comment. You advised me always that we can play Hare Krishna mantra all the time, right? So even she can listen, because that's the last sense to go. So I've so that's also okay, right? As you advised me earlier, that we can play Hare Krishna mantra, we can so that they can hear Krishna's name while they're leaving, because that's the last sense which is going.
You're talking about someone who is dying?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah, they should hear about Lord Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very, very much, my dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.